Hey everybody, what if your thumbnail research was running in the background right now, collecting data, analyzing patterns, and building your visual strategy while you were sleeping, eating, or recording your next video? Because in 2026, that's not a fantasy, that's a workflow. And the creators who figured it out aren't working harder than you, they're just working smarter. Here's the question I want you to start with. How much time did you spend last week manually scrolling through YouTube, trying to figure out what makes a great thumbnail in your niche? An hour, 2, more? Because that time has a cost, my friends. And most of that time is producing guesswork, not data. Here's what's actually happening in the current landscape. The 2026 YouTube algorithm is more competitive than it's ever been. The days of vibe-based brainstorming, picking colors because they feel right, choosing a facial expression because it looks good to you, those days are over for anyone serious about growing a channel. What separates channels that grow from channels that plateau isn't talent or even consistency necessarily, it's the precision of a data-first creative workflow. And the exhausting part is that most creators are still doing this manually, one scroll at a time, when the tools to automate the entire process are completely free. So let me introduce you to the concept that changes everything. A self-updating visual library, a system that continuously pulls high-performing thumbnail data from your niche, organizes it, and keeps it current without you touching it after the initial setup. It works while you sleep, it works while you create, and by the time you sit down to design your next thumbnail, the research is already done. Here's where it starts, the automated scrapping engine. Now I know the word scrapping sounds technical, but stay with me because this is simpler than it sounds. Using browser-based automation tools that are completely free. Think along the lines of no-code workflow builders available right now in 2026. You can set up a zero-cost script that regularly fetches high CTR thumbnails from channels in your niche. The key here is how to filter the data. Don't just pull from the biggest channels. Filter by view to subscriber ratio. That's where the outliers are. That's where you find the smaller channels punching way above their weight. And those are the thumbnails that are genuinely earning clicks on merit, not on brand recognition. Ask yourself this, when you look at successful thumbnails in your niche, are you studying the right channels or are you just defaulting to the biggest names? Once you've got the scrapping engine running, all that raw data flows in a centralized cloud database, something as simple as a free Notion workspace or a Google Sheet with auto-populated fields. Everything organized, everything accessible, everything updating on its own schedule. No more browser bookmarks, no more screenshot folders buried in your downloads. Now here's where it gets interesting. Deconstructing the winning visual pattern. This is where free IA vision tools come in. Tools that can look at a thumbnail and extract the dominant hex color codes and color palettes with a single upload. You're not guessing what colors are working in your niche anymore. You're pulling exact data. From there, you start grouping your scrapped assets by composition style, the comparison thumbnail, the reaction thumbnail, the bold text over face thumbnail, the before and after. These aren't random, they're reoccurring patterns that the algorithm has already validated. And once you can see them grouped together, the patterns become obvious. Think about this for a second. If you could see a heat map showing exactly where the viewer's eyes lands first on the highest performing thumbnails in your niche, how would that change the way you design yours? The heat map is buildable. Free AI vision tools in 2026 can generate focal point analysis on any image you feed them. You're no longer designing by instinct. You're designing with a map. Now let's talk about how you actually use all this. The rapid prototyping pipeline. Once your automated data feed is live and your visual library is populated, you map those insights directly into a templated canvas. Canva, Adobe Express, whatever design tool you already use. The automated research pre-populates your creative constraints, color palette, composition style, focal point placement, so that every time you open a new thumbnail project, you're not starting from a blank page, you're starting from a data-backed framework. Blank page syndrome is one of the most common reasons creators stall in the design phase. What would your design process look like if that problem was eliminated before you even opened your design tool? Right? From there, you establish a weekly sync, a scheduled refresh that pulls new data into your visual library based on real-time niche shifts. What's working this week might shift next month. Your system updates automatically, so your strategy stays current without you manually rebuilding it from scratch every time. And then comes the final piece, validation. Before any thumbnail goes live, run a low-friction A/B test. Tools like TubeBuddy or free split testing options built into YouTube Studio let you pit your automated data-backed design against an alternative and measure early hour click-through rates in real time. You're not waiting weeks to find out if a thumbnail works. You're getting signal within the first 24 to 48 hours. Here's the last question, and it's the one I want you to carry with you. What would your channel look like in 6 months if every single thumbnail you published was backed by real data, tested before it went live, and part of a system that gets smarter every week? That's not a hypothetical situation. That's what this workflow builds. Set it up once, let it run, and let the data do the heavy lifting. Like Ron Pope used to say, set it and forget it. Because the creators winning in 2026 aren't the ones working the hardest. They're the ones who built the smartest systems. Are you currently running thumbnail A/B tests or no? Let me know in the comments. Start with one tool, set up one automated feed, run it for 2 weeks, then watch what happens. Thanks everyone, have an awesome day. See you in the next one.